Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now, it's real time.
We're lucky enough to have Charles Loos. He's the ocean coach. You've seen him here on Outdoor GPS over the years several times talking about, well, what he does, being the ocean coach, classes, things that you can sign up with to keep you alive. And I've mentioned that before, and I'm not kidding. You've literally helped people doing what your job is, coaching them to get out to the saltwater, go fishing, have fun, how to get back, when and when not to go. There's no question you've helped save lives, so we love that. It's one of the reasons why we love having you here. But first up, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the Saltwater Sportsmen show.
Yep.
And that's going on not this weekend, but the upcoming. And it is over in Salem. Brian's going to have all the info. We're going to display that for you. But there's a lot going on. And am I misspeaking, though, when I'm saying that if you're new, this is something that you really need to attend, or even if you're new or old at it, that you might learn something?
If you are saltwater curious, or if you're an old hand.
I love that one. Okay.
This is your place.
Okay.
Okay, because this is where you will find your clan and your people. And you won't find anybody pushing river fishing, RVs, hot tubs, any of that stuff.
Right.
It's saltwater, all saltwater.
Yeah.
And it's the best show for me. I love this show. I've been speaking at this show for 17 years.
And it's exploded in the last decade or less. I mean, it's gone from, a relatively small show to massive, where you've had to change venues, where you've had to increase size, capacity, all that.
Yep. And it's put on by a very small little underground group called Ocean. Yeah. And Ocean, it's a volunteer organization, and they are single-handedly responsible for keeping our rockfish seasons open past Labor Day many, many years. That's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you sometime.
Sure.
But they deserve our support, and they make their money on the raffle, the silent auction, and the seminars.
Okay.
So write them a fat check. Buy the raffle tickets, whatever. They are helping us big time.
And that's one of the things that everybody can expect. There's raffles where you have a chance to win something cool, right?
Yeah, cool stuff.
You've mentioned it already, that you're a clan, right? It's the people that are going to be like-minded with what you're doing, because it is a different mindset. I mean, I know that you fish the freshwater as well, no question. But to be an actual saltwater fisherman, fisherwoman, fisherperson, whatever, it's a different mindset. There's so many more things that come into play, and at the Saltwater Sportsman Show, you can really see all those little pieces of the puzzle. If it's electronics, great. If it's safety gear, great. Yep. Or if it's the seminar, and you're doing a seminar as well.
2 of them, one on navigation, one on crossing the bar.
Okay, perfect, because that's the bar is what keeps me from going to the saltwater. We've talked about that a lot over the years.
Here's the deal about ocean fishing. What I believe is when the ocean calls your name, she will never let you go.
Right, I've heard that.
You can resist, or you can show up and become a mariner, and you'll have adventures like you can't believe.
Right.
But if you feel that call, it's strong.
Yeah, I've got several friends that have made that conversion. Yep. And they have yet to get me to do it. I've still got a 30-foot rule every.
No, come on.
Now, over the years, you've threatened me many times on having me come to your class and do this and that to get out there, and I still just find myself in the Columbia and the Willamette and everything else banging my head against the wall. And there's really been a lot of people over the years that have made that change, right, where they've sold their aluminum boats, where they've sold their sleds, where they've gotten rid of things, drift boats, whatever, that they spend time in freshwater, because let's face it, the regulations and the way things are managed these days are suspect at best. The saltwater is still highly managed because it needs to be, but it is a little, again, if I'm wrong, correct me, but it is a little bit more open. You got a lot of options when you're out there, things that you might not ever get to experience if you only fish the saltwater or freshwater.
You can do crab, salmon, lingcod, rockfish, and probably see whales not at all uncommon.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and dolphins, which is one of my favorite things to see out there. I think the guys that I've gone tuna fishing with, which has been sparing, handful of times, get to see sharks out there, which I'm a big fan of that. One, it means that there's a good, healthy ecosystem out there when you've got sharks running around. But they're just cool. Now, when you're tuna fishing, maybe you don't want to see them, okay? But in the end, it's really cool when you can see all those things.
Excitement. So the prizes this year. So we've got a 3-day long-range trip, San Diego, tuna, okay? We got a 4-day tarpon trip.
Tarpon?
Tarpon.
Okay, in Florida?
Oh, I don't know, someplace down there. Phil Stevens is doing that. The raffle prizes, I'm giving away 2 classes, rods, guided trips, gear, bait, whatever. It's just a fantastic. The stuff is really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Which needs to be, especially if you're going to play along in the saltwater. Okay, so I always got to have these kinds of questions. If you are talking to somebody out there that's relatively new, to maybe they already have the boat, maybe they already have the desire, maybe they've already got the call, like what you mentioned, to get into the saltwater, and they're going, well, why am I going to go to a show? How's that really going to help me? What would you say to those folks that might be like, I'd rather just learn on my own, or just stick it out on the internet and see what I can find?
The seminars are great. Yoda's going to be there, and Del Stevens. Yoda. Mark McCulloch. We call him Yoda because he knows everything.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
He was a charter skipper, commercial fisherman.
Okay.
Just a fountain of knowledge.
Gotcha.
Tremendous guy. So he'll be doing a seminar in deep water lingcod. We got a seminar in shallow water lingcod, deep water halibut, shallow water halibut, 2 tuna seminars, and these are world class. These guys are really good. So you will learn a ton at the seminars.
Right.
The other thing is just the energy of the place. There is so much expertise running around that floor. If anybody has a question, you'll probably get an answer. Come to my booth, Ocean Coach. If I can't answer it, I will walk you across the floor to the person who can. Most likely there will be somebody that can answer your question. And you know how it is when you're around people who know their stuff. It's just the energy and the learning. So learning, I would say learning and community, and support Ocean, for gosh sake.
Sure, and Ocean, again, is a small organization, been around for a long time, and they do always need help, of course, if you want to be able to maintain this source of information. Okay, so again, lots of different options that you can take, right? There's different ways that you can learn information, but none better than somebody that can actually answer it, who's an expert at what they do. Now, that's where things might be a little bit different with the Saltwater Sportsman show as opposed to, you know, the Puyallup show or the Portland show, where things can get so crazy that to try to sit down and talk with somebody that you want to get responses from, you know, actually have a conversation, you ain't doing it in most cases. But at this show, you have that opportunity. And it's Saturday and Sunday.
Yep, 24th and 25th.
The parking is free?
No, it's $10 this year.
$10 this year.
$5.
Either way, it's better than what it could be in other spots. What time does it start? Do you know, and how late does it go? I know we've been showing all the information here, Ryan, so make sure that you can continue to do that. We want to make sure that everyone's well aware. It's in the Oregon State and Expo, Oregon State Fair and Expo Center down there in Salem. Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday, 9 to 4. So not a huge window, which is one of the things that makes that thing so popular. Every single year, and I think Marie and her husband have been in, geez, man, it's been so many years now. It was very small.
Yeah.
It was at a different venue. I mentioned this earlier. Things had to change to try to, you know, accommodate how popular it was getting. I know, is Del Stevens going to be down there this year?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have a chance to learn tuna fishing, halibut, you already mentioned salmon opportunities. Lingcod, bottom fish in general, which I like to just call grocery fishing, because it's just the best that there is.
It's true.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
If you can tie that in with learning how to go crabbing, how to be successful there. I know I always go back to this as far as if you're new at it, because I've been out in the saltwater my entire life. It scares the heck out of me for a reason, right? But there's no reason that you can't get past that by learning from experts and then being successful when you get there. That's what brings them back, right?
And if you don't have the $100,000 for the boat, there's a rich tradition in Oregon of taking people out on your boat. You can become crew, and you can become valued crew. You can get phone calls, you know, 2, 3 a weekend. Hey, if you're a good guy, people will want to take you. So there is that entree.
Yeah, so I mean, you can, a little bit of a connection thing that you can do to make connections.
Yeah, it's all about the community.
Yeah, which is, you know, one of the things, a very good friend of mine, Mike, who might be watching out there, runs one of the only boats that I'll go out to the saltwater in. Stabycraft, it's amazing.
Amazing boat.
Amazing boat. It makes me feel comfortable just looking at it, let alone being on it. But I know that he has learned a lot from other people, because that community, you never go out there alone. You know, you always have folks that are either on the radio with you, and the best way to build those relationships is, one, you got to meet everyone.
Yeah.
But two, you also got to be able to, well, kind of, you know what you're doing to a degree, so that folks can be comfortable with helping you out.
It's not like the river where it's competitive. You're out there 30 miles and there's boats around, you know everybody, they're calling you in on fish. You know, the ocean's a big
competitive place. On the Columbia? No. The smaller the river, the more competitive, and the Columbia is certainly small compared to the ocean. Okay, parting shots. Last thing that we can let them know before we wrap it up.
I just say again, it's about the people. This is not like the big commercial shows. It's volunteer. The people will take care of you, ask your questions.
Gotcha.
And especially if you're just curious about the saltwater.
Saltwater curious. I thought that was very poetic. Okay, Charles, number one, it's great to see you, sir. We need to get you in and start talking about some of those classes before the saltwater fishery really starts to take off this year. Because I can promise you, look him up, Charles Loos, saltwater coach. He can help you be better at being out there on the saltwater. And don't forget, head over to that Saltwater Sportsmen show this following weekend. A ton of fun, and you can just learn something that can make you better at it. See, there you go, dory fishing.
Right?
You can learn a lot about that too.
That's the best.
I mean, really. I'm just going to tell you now, though, if you don't have a dory boat, you ain't going to go to Pacific City and do it on your own. That's where you need to hook up with some of the folks that are there. All right, Charles, thank you. We're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to have Sandeep Nan. He is the owner of Fisherman's Marine and his GM, Junior, also here on the studio, or in the studio. We're going to talk about a number of different things, Fisherman's Marine. We'll be right back.